And finally, new rule: before we spread democracy around the world, America has to figure out how to spread water around America. We don't know if Afghanistan ever wanted democracy, but I've been to Burbank. I know they drink water. But for how much longer? Our new normal is never-ending, life-threatening drought and wildfires in the West, and in the East, the opposite. That's the extreme rainfall area, what I call the Cardi B region, because if you live there, your ass is going to be wet. While rivers here in the West dry up, the East Coast will be getting brand new rivers, like this one in Manhattan. Yeah, if you've never been on the subway, that's not how it's supposed to look. And I gotta tell you, when I saw that video, I think I had the same thought as everyone here in California. Can we have some? Whenever I watch flood footage from anywhere, I feel like a girl with no ass staring at Kim Kardashian. Just once, I'd like to be the dumbass whose car stalls out in the intersection. For more on this, let's go to me with the weather. Okay, on this side of the country, it doesn't rain anymore, ever. And on this side of the country, they're drowning. Now here's sports. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, please. Thank you. Yeah. But, you know, this is not an imponderable quandary like cold fusion or why they can't find a host for Jeopardy. As the general manager of the Southern Nevada Water Authority once said, one man's flood control is another man's water supply. Does anyone see where I'm going with this? That it would be a giant win-win if we just built pipelines from where the water is to where the water isn't. I'm not a civil engineer, but if we can extract shale oil from tar sands 2 miles below the frozen surface of Canada and pipe it to Louisiana, why not water? Water is a lot easier to get than oil. I've heard there are places where it literally falls from the sky. Now, in the past, when I've brought up the idea of a water pipeline, I was deterred from pressing the point by the conventional wisdom that this has been proposed and studied and it's just not feasible. But I looked into the details, and tonight I'd like to call bullshit on that. What's not feasible is us. This idea is only a non-starter because of petty political squabbles, insane levels of graft, and red tape. It's completely doable, and in fact has been proposed many times by serious people. Availability of water is not the problem. To the east of us, flooding. To the west, a giant reservoir called the Pacific Ocean. Oh yes, the ocean. Did you know that Israel gets most of its water from the ocean, from desalinization? Why can't we do desalinization if Israel does? We have Jews here. I'm sure they can figure it out. We have lots of smart people. The problem isn't one of know-how either. It's will and selfishness and greed. Think about it logically. Why would it really be harder to get water through a pipe than oil? The U.S. already has 2.6 million miles of pipelines to transport oil and natural gas and hazardous liquids, and they are all really easier to move than water. Is a water pipeline really more of an engineering challenge than when we built railroads through the Rocky Mountains, or laid the transatlantic cable, or made the Panama Canal? Or put a man on the moon, which, even if you think was faked, you have to admit, pulling off a prank like that would be in itself quite a remarkable achievement. Moving water is not impossible. It can be done. Others have done it. The Romans did it with first-century technology. Some of their aqueducts are still in use. The Incas, the Minoans, the Egyptians, lots of ancient people did it. And let's not forget Moses parting the Red Sea. China does it now. Beijing depends on water that is provided by their massive South-North water transfer project, which was begun in December of 2002, and of course, being China, completed the next day. But in America, we don't even start because we know. Why would it be any different from any other ambitious project, like Afghanistan, that always just turns into a giant money grab? Here in California, we know we can't house the homeless because the cost of a single unit has risen to $750,000. We tried to build high-speed rail. They finally pulled the plug on that because the cost got so out of hand. That's why nothing ever gets done in this country, because so much bullshit is built into everything that it's a boondoggle before it starts. This is our tragic flaw. The ever-ballooning costs, the inflated contracts, the back-scratching, the kickbacks, the private contractors, the padded expense accounts, the layers of consultants, the permits, the fees, the environmental impact statements, the lawsuits, the lawyers, the lobbyists, the red tape, graft on a scale untamable. But 78 million people live in the West. What do we do in the not-so-distant future when they're all water refugees? The Colorado River supplies 40 million people with the water they need to live, and it's drying up. Those people can't all get in covered wagons, head east, and move back in with their parents.